Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 8th. So students, in today's video we will start reading with our next poem from the book Honeydew. This is poem number 5 and the name of the poem is The School Boy, and this poem is written by Mr. William Blake, who is a very famous, very renowned poet. And students, the title The School Boy, it's a very easy, very simple title. So in this poem we will read about one boy. The description of one boy is given, that is a school going boy. So let's start our poem. First of all, before you read, so before starting the poem, let's get some idea. The school boy in the poem is not a happy child. So in this poem we will read about one school going boy, but that boy is not a happy child. That boy is not at all in a happy mood. So what is the reason why that child, or we can say why that boy is very much sad? What makes him unhappy? So this is a very common question, that why that boy is unhappy. What is the reason that he is not at all in a happy mood? Why does he compare himself to a bird that lives in a cage, or a plant that withers when it should blossom? And one more question is there that arises now, that what is the reason that that child, he compares himself. So now in the poem we will read some comparison where that child, that boy, he is comparing himself with a bird that is in a cage, and again he is comparing himself with a plant that withers when it should blossom. So these are some of the questions and we will get all our answers when we will read the poem. So now let's start reading with our poem. So student, this is the very first stanza. This is the opening stanza of our poem. So first of all, let's read the lines. I love to rise in a summer morn when the birds sing on every tree. The distant huntsman winds his horn and the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company. So this is the opening stanza of the poem, and in these lines the boy, so the school going boy, that boy is the narrator here, and that boy is saying that I love to rise in a summer morn. So now that boy is presenting his feelings and he is saying that when it is summer season and summer mornings are there, so he enjoys summer mornings, he loves summer mornings, and he actually loves to rise in a summer morning. So that school going boy, he actually loves summer seasons, he enjoys the summer morning. Why? So next he is explaining some of the reasons, he is giving some of the reasons, and he is saying when the birds sing on every tree, because in summer morning there are so many birds in early morning time, and all the birds, they are singing on every tree. Okay, so this boy, he actually enjoys the music, the songs that are produced by the birds. And next he is saying the distant huntsman winds his horn. So let's understand the meaning first. Distant means something that is very far away, and huntsman means hunter. And what horn means? Horn is a kind of musical instrument. So students, in earlier times there were so many hunters, like in this picture we all can see, and these hunters, they used to play this kind of particular musical instrument that is known as horn. So यहाँ भी हम देख सकते हैं कि ये hunters हैं and they are blowing this instrument, they are blowing this horn. So this boy, he is able to hear the sound of that horn that are produced by the hunters, and that sound is coming from a very far away. That जो hunters हैं, they are very far away and the sound is coming from a very distance, right? But the boy, he actually enjoys this sound also, as well as he enjoys the music, the songs that are produced by the birds. Clear? Next he is saying, and the skylark sings with me. So what is a skylark? Skylark is a kind of bird, like in this picture we all can see, this is a skylark bird, and again the voice of this skylark bird is very sweet. The music that this bird produces is very much sweet. So now the boy is saying that the boy is very much happy, he is in a very happy state of mind, he is in a very happy mood. Why? Because he is awake and this is summer morning. It's very pleasant weather, and he is able to listen the music, the songs that are produced by the birds, and he is also listening one more sound, and this sound is produced by the hunters, and hunters, they are blowing their horn. So the boy is listening the sound of that horn. So boy is very much happy, and in that happy state of mind, the boy is singing. So he is saying that when he is singing, at the same time the skylark bird is there, and that skylark bird is also singing with the boy. Okay, so finally the boy is concluding all his emotions, and finally he is saying, oh, what sweet company. So now after reading the last line of the stanza, now we can understand, now we can imagine the feelings, the emotions that the boy is having. So this boy, he is very much happy, and now in this stanza he is presenting the reasons of his happiness and why he is happy. So he is very much happy because he loves the summer season, he loves the summer morning, because yes, the जो mornings होती हैं summer season की, they are very pleasant, and in the early morning the boy, he is able to listen some of the sounds, some of the music. First sound is of the birds that are singing, that are on the tree and that are singing, and the second sound is produced by the hunters, and those hunters, they are blowing one of the musical instrument that is known as horn. So the boy, he is listening the different sounds, and he is enjoying, he is loving this music, and the boy, he is also singing. So one skylark bird is there, and that bird is also singing with the boy, and finally the boy is saying that all these things, they are very sweet company for the boy. The boy actually enjoys to have all these things, he actually enjoys to listen all the music, all the sounds, and yes, he enjoys early summer morning, because for him all these things are very sweet, very enjoyable, very pleasurable, and he actually loves, he actually likes summer mornings. Clear? So very simple lines are these, very easy to read, easy to understand. So I am sure that the explanation part of our first stanza is clear to you all. In the first stanza, the poet is presenting the feelings of that schoolboy, and the schoolboy, that is the narrator of our poem, that schoolboy is saying that he is very much happy in summer mornings, and then he presenting the reasons, and finally in the last line he is concluding all the things, and he is saying that in the summer morning he is having very sweet company, all the things that are there with him, so he enjoys all the things, he likes all the things. This is the reason he is very much happy in the summer mornings. Okay, so now let's discuss some of the literary devices that are there in the first stanza. So let's discuss rhyme scheme. So students, after completing so many poems, now I am very much sure that you all are able to mark, you all are able to underline the rhyme scheme. So we just have to focus on the sound. So let's see our first sound. First sound is mon, so obviously we will mark it as A. Second sound is tree. Mon and tree, no similarities there, so we will mark tree as B. Next sound is horn. So let's compare it with mon. Mon and horn, yes, they are similar sound, so horn will be A, just like mon. Next is me. Tree, me, yes, they are similar sounds, it will be B. Again, next is company. So tree, me, company, yes, tree, me, company, all the words, they are having similar sound, so again company will be B, just like tree and me. So we can see that the rhyme scheme of our first stanza is A, B, A, B, B, right? So we can write here, it's A, B, A, B, B. So this is the rhyme scheme of our first stanza, and throughout the poem, in each and every stanza, the same rhyme scheme is there. Okay, so now next we are moving on to our second stanza. So first of all, let's read the lines. But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. So this is the second stanza of the poem, and again in in this stanza we can see the mood of the child, but there is a huge difference in the mood of the child that is there in the first stanza and that is there in the second stanza. So what is the difference? Let's see. But to go to school in a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. So now the boy, he is saying that, so in the previous stanza, that is the very first stanza of the poem, we have read that, the boy, he enjoys summer mornings and he is very much happy. He likes summer mornings and he enjoys the company of birds. He enjoys to listen the different sounds. But now he is saying that when in the summer morning, he has to go to school. So as the title suggests, the boy, he is a school going boy, so obviously he has to go to school. So now he is saying that when in summer morning he has to go to school, then what happens? So he is saying, oh, it drives all joy away. It means when he has to go to school, at that time, he becomes very sad, no happiness is there in him, and he is saying that it means this thing that he has to go to school, this thing drives all joy away. Now the same boy, he is not at all happy, he is very much sad, he is having no joy, he is having no enjoyment. Why? The boy is same, the summer morning is same, but when he is there at his home, when he is having the sweet company, when he is listening the different sounds, the music, then he is very much happy. But when he has to go to school, then the same boy, he finds no joy, no enjoyment, no fun, and he is saying, under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. So now he is presenting that what actually happens in school. So he is saying that in school, under a cruel eye outworn, outworn means something that is very old fashioned, or we can say something that is very much uninteresting. So now this boy, he is having no interest in school, this boy is having no interest in studies. So he is saying that in school there is a cruel eye. So now here what cruel eye means? So we all know that in school there are teachers. So now here the poet is saying, the teachers, they are having cruel eye. Why? Because obviously teachers, they are not at all cruel, but yes, they are strict. They have to be strict, right? Because they have to maintain some discipline in the school, so they have to be strict. So now here the small boy, the child, for him, he is saying this thing that the teachers, they are very cruel and they are very outworn. It means जो उनके method है, जो उनके teaching method है, they are very old fashioned, they are very much uninteresting, and this child, he finds no fun, no enjoyment, no interest in the lectures, in the lessons that are given by the teachers. And next he is saying that in the school, the little ones, it means all the kids, all the children that are there in the school, so all the kids, they spend the entire day in the school. How? In sighing and dismay. Sighing means we can say breathe uncomfortably, and dismay means sadness. It means जो भी kids हैं that are there in the school, so the entire time they spend in a great mood of dismay. It means पूरे time वो बिल्कुल sad होके बैठे रहते हैं और वो सिर्फ breathe करते हैं in a very uncomfortable manner. Okay, so this is the second stanza of the poem, and in this stanza we can see that there is a huge difference in the mood. The child that is very much happy in the first stanza, so now in the second stanza he is saying that in summer morning when he has to go to school, then all the happiness, all the joy that he was having, everything just उससे उसके मन से सब कुछ चला जाता है. Now he is not at all in a happy mood. So again he is presenting the reason, and he is saying that when he is in the school, so there is a cruel eye there in the school. So he is referring his teachers here, and he is saying that all the teachers, they are very cruel, they are very strict, there are so many rules that he has to follow in the school, and the teaching method is very much outworn, that is very much old fashioned, or we can say that is very much uninteresting. And all the kids, all the children that are there in the school, so they all spend the entire day in a great mood of of sadness, and they just sit there and they just breathe in a very uncomfortable manner. Okay, so now here we can realize, we can imagine that yes, this schoolboy, he is not at all interested in going to school. He finds no joy, no fun, no enjoyment in the school, and he is having no interest in school and no interest in the studies as well, right? And all the teachers, they are very much cruel, they are very much strict for him. Okay, so now in this stanza again we can see some of the literary devices. So first of all, let's discuss the rhyme scheme that we have seen in the first stanza also. So as I have told you earlier that the rhyme scheme is the same throughout the poem. So let's mark one more time. Mourn, it will be A. Away, it's a new sound, it will be B. Outworn and mourn, they are similar, it will be A. And away, day, dismay, these three sounds are similar. Away, day, dismay, so it will be B, and again it will be B. So rhyme scheme of second stanza is the same that was in the first stanza. So we can write here, it's A, B, A, B, B. Okay. One more literary device that we can see here is repetition. So we can see that this word summer morn, it is repeated here because in the previous stanza we have read this word summer morn, right? So this word summer morn, this was there in the first stanza also, and the same word is there in the second stanza. So this is the example of repetition, right? So you can write here repetition. And the example of repetition is summer morn. Clear? One more literary device that is very much important that is used here in this stanza is transferred epithet. So this literary device is known as transferred epithet. So what transferred epithet means? Transferred epithet means, it is a kind of literary device, it is a kind of poetic device, and it means that when we use one adjective for a noun, but actually that adjective refers to something else. So this is the use of, this is the example of transferred epithet. So like in this stanza, we can have this word cruel eye, right? So here cruel is an adjective and this adjective is used for eye, but here eye is not cruel, actually the eyes of the teachers. So teachers are referred very cruel, to be very strict here, right? So this is the example of transferred epithet, because here cruel, that is an adjective that is used for eye, but actually it is referring to the teachers, right? So this is the example of transferred epithet here in this stanza. Okay, now next we are moving on to the third stanza. So first of all, let's read the lines. Then at times I dropping sit and spend many an anxious hour, nor in my book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the dearest shower. So now again the poet, he is presenting, the child's mood when he is there in the school. So poet is saying that, then at times I drooping sit. So the child, he is the narrator. So he is saying that when he is there in the school, he has to go to school, although he doesn't like to go to school, but he has to go to there. So when he is there at the school, so at times, he just drooping sit. So let's say the meaning first. Drooping means to bend, or we can say to hang. So now this child, he is having no interest in the lessons, he is having no interest, in the studies, or we can say in the class, or we can say in his books. So वो अपना वहाँ पे time spend कैसे करता है? So now he is presenting that thing, and he is saying that at times he just sit there, and he just bending his head, he just hanging his head, and spend many an anxious hour. Anxious means worried. So in this way he spends his time there in the school. Why? Because he is not at all interested in the school, he is having no fun, no enjoyment there. So but he has to go to school, उसको अपना time वहाँ पे पूरा करना भी है, right? So he just sit there in his class, and how he just hang his body, he just bend his head, and then he spent the entire time, and the entire time is very much anxious for him. The entire school time is very much worried for him. Why? Because again he is having no interest in the school, and all the teachers, they are very much cruel, they are very much strict for him. So उसको पूरे टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा वो एंशियस रहता है, बहुत ज़्यादा वो वरीड रहता है, और बस वो वेट करता है कि कैसे स्कूल टाइम पूरा हो, एंड अगेन ही विल हैव द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गो बैक होम. Nor in my book can I take delight. So now he is saying that all the school books, all the textbook, all the different subjects book that he is having, so none of the book is having any fun for him, any delight for him, any happiness for him. So this child, he is having no interest, no happiness in any of the book. Or next he is saying, nor sit in learning's bower, worn through with the deary shower. So he is finding no happiness in his textbook, and he is finding no happiness in learning's bower. So what learning's bower means? Bower means a shady place. It means where there are so many trees. So that place is known as a bower, and here learning bowers represents the classrooms, right? So that child is saying that he is not able to find any happiness in his books, in his textbook, and at the same time he is not able to find any happiness in his classroom also. So here learning's bower represents the classrooms, and he is saying the classroom is a place where there are deary shower. Deary means very gloomy, and shower here represents lecture. So in the classroom there are teachers, and one after another continuously they just give lectures one after another. So this child, he is totally unable to have any happiness, to have any enjoyment, to have any fun in those lectures, because continuously one after another एक एक करके teachers आते रहते हैं, all the teachers of different subject, and they just keep continuing the lecture, the lessons. So ऐसा लगता है कि it's like a shower. So shower क्या होता है? जब continuously जो water है that is pouring, right? So that is known as shower, and here the shower means the continuous lectures, the continuous lessons that are given by the teachers in the school. Clear? Let's see the explanation part one more time. So here in this third stanza, the child, he is presenting the reason that why he is not at all happy in his school, and he is presenting the reason that why he is having no interest in his studies, or we can say in his teacher. So he is saying that when he is there in the school, so he spend the entire time in a very boring mood. He finds no fun in the school, and the school time is very much anxious for him, very much all the time he is very much worried, and he just sit there drooping, right? Next he is saying that he is unable to find any fun, any happiness, any delight in his books, in his textbooks, and he is having no interest in his classroom also, because classroom is a place where there are so many teachers one after another, and they just keep pouring the shower of their lectures, right? So कोई भी break नहीं मिलता है इसे, कोई भी इसको फन टाइम नहीं मिलता है, कोई भी इसको प्ले टाइम नहीं मिलता है, एक के बाद एक टीचर्स आते रहते हैं, और कंटिन्यूसली वो जिस तरह से शावर होता है उस तरह से वो कंटिन्यूसली जो लेक्चर्स होते हैं वो पोर करते रहते हैं. सो दिस बॉय, ही इज टोटली अनेबल टू हैव एनी फन टाइम, ही इज टोटली अनेबल टू हैव एनी प्ले टाइम इन द school, and this is the reason he is having no interest. So this boy, when he is there at his home, he is very much happy, he is very much delighted, but when he has to go to school, so in his school he finds no fun, no joy, no enjoyment, and at the same time not at all any interest, right? And he has presented so many reasons that why he is not at all interested in his studies, why he is not at all interested in his textbooks, or we can say in his classroom. Clear? So now again in this stanza we can see some of the literary devices. First of all, the rhyme scheme. So rhyme scheme is the same. Let's mark sit and delight, they are same. So both the sound will mark A. Hour, bower, shower, right? Hour, bower, shower. So yes, they are similar sounds, so they will be B. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza is the same. A, B, A, B, B. Clear? Another literary device that we can see here is anaphora. So what anaphora means? Anaphora is, again, it's a kind of literary device, and it means when the beginning word, or we can say the first word of any consecutive lines, it is the same, it is used as a repetition. So this is the literary device that is known as anaphora. So here we can see that this line, this starts with nor. The first word of this line is nor, and again the consecutive lines, the next line also starts with the same word. So the first word है नोर वो रिपीट हुआ है. So this is the example of anaphora. So anaphora is a literary device where the first word of any two or more consecutive lines is repeated. So then this is the example of anaphora, and in this stanza we can say the example of anaphora because the word nor is repeated here in these two consecutive lines. So yes, this is the example of anaphora. Clear? And in this stanza again we can see the example of transferred epithet that we have discussed in the previous stanza also. So let's write one more time. So in this stanza also we are having the example of transferred epithet. Okay, so let's see here, anxious hour. So here anxious is the adjective, so anxious is used for hour, but actually the hour is not anxious. जो time है, time is not at all anxious, but the time that is spent by the boy, or we can say the boy is anxious, the boy is worried. So here anxious hour, this is the example of transferred epithet because hour is not anxious, hour is not at all worried, but the time that is spent by the boy in the school. So boy is worried here. So again this is the example of transferred epithet. Clear? And again here we can see one more example of metaphor. So what metaphor means? Metaphor is a literary device that we have discussed so many times earlier also. So metaphor is a kind of poetic device where there is a comparison, or we can see where one thing represents something else. So that is known as metaphor. So here we can see learning's bower. So bower, we all know, it's a place that is covered by so many trees, or we can say that is a shady place. So here learning's bower represents the classroom, and similarly there is shower. Here shower words represent the continuous lectures. Okay, because shower क्या होता है, जब continuous जो water होता है that is pouring, that is known as shower. So here shower represents the continuous pouring of lectures, the continuous pouring of lessons that are given by the teacher. So here learning's power is the example of metaphor because it represents the classroom, and similarly there is shower is also an example of metaphor because it represents the continuous boring lectures that are given by the teachers. Okay, so these are the literary devices. Next, moving on. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? So now after presenting his situation, that what his mood is there in the school, what his situation is there in the school, and what is the reason why he is having no interest, no fun, no enjoyment in the school. Now the child, he is having some of the questions, and first of all he is saying that how can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? So now here the poet is presenting a comparison, and the poet is saying, you know, that how a bird that is born for joy, so how that bird can sit in a cage and sing. It means the poet here wants to say कि जो birds होती हैं, they are born to sing, right? They are born to, you know, enjoy. But अगर हम birds को एक केज में कैच करके रख देते हैं, if the birds they are caught in a cage, so at that time they won't sing in that, you know, in that happy mood, जैसे कि वो free होके sing करती हैं. है, सो उस हैप्पी मूड में वो एक केज में बंद होके सिंग नहीं कर पाएंगी. सो हियर द पोएट इज प्रेजेंटिंग वन कंपैरिजन एंड ही इज सेइंग दैट अ चाइल्ड दैट इज देयर इन द स्कूल एंड देयर आर सो मेनी restrictions on him, he is having no fun time there in the school, he is having no play time there in the school, and all the time he is sitting in a very worried mood, he is very much anxious and continuously so many lectures, so many lessons there are, so he is just like a bird that is caught in a cage. So a child that is there in the school, so that child is being compared with a bird that is caught in a cage. And next the poet is saying that जिस तरह से एक bird को आप cage में catch कर लोगे, so at that time he won't be able to sing happily. Similarly अगर एक child है that is having no fun, no interest in the school, लेकिन उसको स्कूल में बाउंड करके रख दिया गया है, so at that time that child he won't be able to grow happily, he won't be able to have fun in his life. Clear? How can a child when fears annoy but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spring? Again, you know, comparison is there, and now here the poet is saying that how can a child when fears annoy? So अगर कोई child है, right, and all the time he is having the feeling that he is very much frightened, he is having a great deal of fearfulness, and he is very much annoyed, he is very much worried, and all the time he is sitting there drooping his tender wing. Tender means soft. So जिस तरह से एक bird होता है, bird अपने you know tender wings को, soft wings को bend कर लेते हैं, वो fly नहीं कर पाते, right? अगर वो cage में है then obviously they are not able to fly. So वो कैसे बैठ जाते हैं? वो सिर्फ उस cage के अंदर बैठे रहते हैं by drooping their tender wings. Similarly the boy who is there in the school, so he is not able to play there, he is not able to have fun there, so he just sitting there in the classroom by drooping their tender wings and forget his youthful spring. And then obviously such children, they will forget their youthful spring. So here what youthful spring means, we all know spring is the season, and spring is known as the most beautiful season because in spring season there are so many beautiful flowers everywhere and greenery is there everywhere. Similarly the childhood is the time that is known as the spring of life. Okay, हमारी जो लाइफ के different phrases होते हैं, so in all the phrases childhood is the period, childhood is the time that is known as the spring of our life. So here the poet is saying that अगर एक boy है and there are so many restrictions over him and he is having no fun, no enjoyment, then obviously he will forget his youthful spring. How will he enjoy his youthful time? How will he enjoy his childhood time that is known as the spring of his life? Clear? One more time we can revise. So here the poet is presenting the comparison and he is comparing the child that is there in the school with a bird that is caught in the cage, and he is saying that you know the bird that is there in the cage, he is not able to sing happily and all the time he is sitting there drooping his tender wings because he is not at all able to fly. Similarly a boy that is there in the school and there are so many restrictions over him, so that boy is also sitting there in a very sad mood and he is not able to have any play time, any fun time. So obviously वो you know अपनी लाइफ को enjoy करना भूल जाएगा, अपनी लाइफ में you know हंसना भूल जाएगा, sing करना भूल जाएगा, डांस करना भूल जाएगा, right? And all the time he will also sit there by drooping his tender wings, and then he forgets his youthful spring. He won't be able to enjoy his childhood time because childhood time is the most important time, or we can say it is the most enjoyable time, and it is known as the spring in the life of any child. So in this picture we can see that this is the child, he is sitting in the school, but you know by seeing his facial expressions we can see that he is having no interest in the school and all the time he is thinking about bird की जो birds हैं वो कितनी freely घूमते हैं, but अगर उन्हीं birds को हम cage में you know catch करके रख लेंगे then obviously they will have no fun. So the child जो है वो अपने आप को bird से compare कर रहा है and he is having the feeling, he is having the realization that his condition is just like a bird that is caught in a cage. Okay, so now in this stanza also we can see some of the literary devices. Rhyme scheme is the same as we have discussed. So joy and annoy, they will be AA because they are having similar sound, and sing, wing and spring, right? Sing, wing, spring, they are similar sounds, so we will mark it as B, B, B. So again the rhyme scheme of this stanza is the same, that is A, B, A, B, B. Clear? And another literary device that we can see here in this stanza that is very much important, that is known as a rhetorical question. So what rhetorical question means? Rhetorical question is a kind of literary device. So in this literary device there is a question but the speaker that is expecting no answer, right? और वो जो question है that is presented just to present his idea. Like in the beginning of this stanza we can see that this is a question, that how can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing, and another we are having this question, how can a child, right? So how can the bird, how can a child, so these are the questions, but ये question इसलिए नहीं पूछे गए हैं that the poet, or we can say that the child, he wanted to have some answers. No, yes, these are the questions, but he is speaking these questions just to present his point, right? He is not at all expecting some answers from the audience, some answers from the readers. He is just presenting his point. So these questions that are used in the poem, so these questions are known as rhetorical questions, and again this is a kind of literary device, right? And in this example, after having this example, we can see another examples of metaphor. So in this stanza again some examples of metaphor. So first of all here we can see youthful spring. So we all know youthful spring. Spring is a season, and here spring is represented the childhood period. So here spring word is used to represent the childhood period of our life. So this is the example of metaphor. And again one comparison is there when the child is compared with the bird that is caught in a cage. So this comparison is also the example of metaphor, and here the word spring is also the example of metaphor because spring represents the childhood period. Clear? Next, moving on. Oh father and mother, if birds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if the tender plants are stripped of their joy in the springing day by sorrow and care's dismay. So now in this stanza the child is he's addressing to his parents, and he's saying that oh father and mother, if birds are nipped and blossoms blown away. So now in this stanza the poet, he is actually giving the message. He actually wanted to have this message for all the parents, and he's saying he is actually addressing all the parents here, and he's saying that if birds are nipped, so again one comparison is used here, and the poet is saying that if all the birds they are nipped, they are destroyed, and all the blossoms, all the flowers, they are blown away, right? यानी कि जो फ्लावर होता है वो पूरा ग्रो होने से पहले जो बर्ड्स हैं उनको अर्ली स्टेज में अगर आप डिस्ट्रॉय कर दोगे, दे आर डिस्ट्रॉयड इन द अर्ली स्टेज ओनली, एंड ऑल द फ्लावर्स, ऑल द ब्लॉसम्स, दे आर आल्सो ब्लोन अवे. एंड इफ द टेंडर प्लांट्स आर स्ट्राइप्ड, स्ट्राइप्ड मीन्स टू टेक समथिंग अवे. सो इफ द टेंडर प्लांट्स आर स्ट्राइप्ड ऑफ देयर जॉय इन द springing day, right? So springing day again, it's the youthful period for all the plants. So if the plants they are having no joy in the springing day, all the joy that is striped off the or striped from all the plants, and they are having only sorrow, and they are having only dismay, only sadness in their life. So how the plants, or we can say how the flowers, they will grow, they will develop. Okay, so again in this stanza we are having one comparison. In the previous stanza the child was being compared with a bird that is caught in a cage, and in this stanza the same child that is there in the school, and he is having no fun, no enjoyment, no interest, and so many restrictions are there, so many rules are there. So that child is now being compared with the birds that are destroyed in the early age, with the flowers that are not able to develop, that are not able to blossom, and with the plants that are having no joy in the springing days, and they are having only sorrow, they are having only dismay. So now after presenting this comparison, the poet actually wanted to give the the message he is addressing all the parents here, and he is saying that the boy, or we can say each and every child, they should have some fun time, they should have some enjoyment in their life, because yes, this is true that study is important, education is important, but the most important thing is the method, the way. So the education system, it should be in this way that only bookish knowledge it should not be there, but some playtime should be there, some fun time should be there, and so many other activities should be there in the school, where the child, they should learn and at the same time they can enjoy. So this is the reason कि आजकल के जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है वो इस तरह का होता है that in the school you all the kids you are having your art period, right? So ये जो periods होते हैं, art period is there, or we can say game period is there. So all these activities, they are there just for this thing that जो overall development होता है, that is must, that is the most important thing, and for that overall development all these activities should be there in the school. So they should be the education system, and parents, they should not have any pressure on their kids, no pressure should be there. Parents should not have any over expectations or over pressure on their kids, but it doesn't mean that you should not study. No, this is not the message. Studies are very much important, knowledge are very much important, but the message that the poet wanted to give here is this thing that जो parents हैं, they should not create extra pressure on the kids, and the kids, they should have time to play, they should have time of some fun time, some enjoyment time, then only they can grow in a natural environment, then only they can develop all their qualities, because overall development, that is very much important. So all the school, they should focus on this thing, and this should be the educational system, this should be the attitude of parents. Clear? So in this stanza again we can see some of the literary devices. First discuss the rhyme scheme. So nibbed and stripped, they are similar, they will be AA. Away, day, dismay, they will be BBB. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza is again same, ABABB, right? And in this stanza also we can see the example of metaphor, because comparison is there, and here the boy is compared with the birds that are destroyed in the early age, the boy is compared with the plants that are having no fun in the springing days. Clear? And we can see these are the examples of metaphor. And now last we are having these two concluding lines of the poem. So let's read. How shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? So after giving these two comparison, now finally the poet is having this question, and he is saying that अगर इस तरह की चीजें होंगी, that all the birds, they are destroyed in the early age, all the plants, they are not able to grow, they are not able to develop in the springing days, then how shall the summer arise in joy? Then how the happy summer days will be there, and how we can expect any summer fruits there, because fruits कब होते हैं, जब finally जो birds है that will grow in the flower, then only flower fruit will be there, right? लेकिन अगर birds को आप early stage में develop कर दोगे, if there are no flowers, then obviously no fruits will be there. So if you want to have the fruits, if you want to enjoy the summer, then you should allow the birds to grow. Similarly, if you want to have a perfect child, if you want to have a child that is having multifaceted personality, that is having a overall development, then you should allow the child to grow in their natural manner. Then no restriction should be there, no extra rule should be there, and the child, they should be allowed to grow in their natural manner, with having all the fun time, with having all the enjoyment in their life. So we can say one balance should be there. Studies are important, education is important, but at the same time the natural development, or we can say the overall development, is also very much important. So that balance should be very much important, and all the school, or we can say the education system, the parents, they should maintain that balance. And this is the message that this poem is having, and our poet, that is Mr. William Blake, very successfully he is able to convey this message with the help of this poem. Okay, so let's see the rhyme scheme of our second two lines. Joy, it will be A, and appear, it will be B. So these are the last two concluding lines, and the rhyme scheme of this last two lines is A, B. Okay, So students, we have completed the poem. It's very easy poem, but at the same time this poem is having a very great message, and please don't misunderstand the message. The poem is not saying this thing that you should not study, you should not work hard. No, the poem is having the message that in life there should be some balance. Education is very much important, studies is very much important, and all the kids, they should work hard, they should be sincere, they should be serious towards their studies, but at the same टाइम सम फन टाइम शुड बी देयर, यू नो सम प्ले टाइम शुड बी देयर. और जो स्कूल्स हैं वो ऐसे हों जहाँ पे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं दे शुड हैव फन, दे शुड हैव सम इंटरेस्ट, राइट. जो बुक्स हैं वो भी इस तरह की हों जो बच्चों के लिए इंटरेस्टिंग हो, और जो एजुकेशन मेथड है वो भी ऐसा हो. एंड इन नाउअडेज वी ऑल आर हैविंग दीज थिंग्स. आज जो हमारे जो स्कूल्स हैं वो इतने तरह की एक्टिविटीज़ कंडक्ट करते हैं. देन ऑल द किड्स दे कैन पार्टिसिपेट, गेम्स आर देयर, क्राफ्ट एक्टिविटीज़ आर देयर, सो मैनी थिंग्स are there, sports are there, sports days are there, annual functions is there, dance is there, play is there. So these things are there only just for the thing that overall development is very much important, and so that all the kids they can have interest in the school, they can find some fun time, some play time in the school. So yes, this is the balance, and this balance should be there, and all the schools, all the parents and our educational system, they should focus on this balance, right? So I am very much sure that the explanation part and all the literary devices that we have discussed, everything is clear to you all, and most importantly the message that this poem is having, that message is also very much clear to you all. And in the next video we will see the comprehension part, we will solve the questions, but first of all we will revise the summary of the poem so that one more time we can revise the explanation part. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you.